Welcome to Next Core Training Video Worksheet Completion Percentage Report. When we log into Cleans, we would move to the left reporting button. We could then move to the right, drop open the labor line using the plus sign. Moving down the list, we would find our Worksheet Completion Percentage Report. We open this report, we see our criteria selection screen. We could start with selecting the date range for which we want to run this report, see our completion percentage. We could also select in our criteria critical equipment only that we have identified as critical. We could select a specific piece of equipment, area, or worksheet. We could select a specific production line. We could select a specific group of worksheets. We could select a specific corporate category of worksheets for reporting purposes. We do have the availability to run this report in a detailed fashion, an equipment area summary fashion, or a summary only fashion. And we do have the option to suppress the cost, suppress the hours, or either or. Now, after running this report, we see that on this report, it's showing us what equipment area worksheet header that we're referring to. It shows us the worksheet ID number that was assigned at the time of print. It shows us the skill level that was associated to the tasks on this worksheet. It shows us the date that this worksheet was generated, printed within our system, the employee who performed the work that was completed. It shows us when we move to the labor section, we see the hours used to complete the tasks on this worksheet and the cost to the facility for those labor hours. Moving to the task section of the report, we can see the status of these worksheets, all completed, partially completed, or none completed. We can see the total number of tasks that were on this worksheet and the tasks that were completed, the number of tasks. And that equates to our completion percentage. At the end of this section, we can now see the average completion percentage for all the worksheets in the given time frame that we requested. We can see the total number of tasks generated, the total number of tasks completed, the cost to the facility for the labor hours to perform those tasks, the total hours used to perform those tasks. Now in the forecast versus actual section, what we see here is our labor hours used to complete what tasks were completed, performed, versus the forecasted time for all tasks on the worksheet. And that equates to what percentage of that labor did we use. We had forecasted 2 hours to complete all tasks. We used 2.75 hours, and that was 138% of our forecast. Now the second two columns are the forecast for only the tasks that were completed. So of the tasks that were completed, we had 2 hours forecasted. We used 2.75 hours to complete them, which equated to 138% of our forecasted labor hours. Moving to the end of the report, and when we run this report for all production lines, at the end of each production line, we see the same summary of the information concerning that production line. In this instance, in this sample, I ran it for only one production line. We see on the left side that the worksheets scheduled were 583. The worksheets that were completed in full was 368, equating to 63.12% of our worksheets got completed in full. 68 worksheets only got partially completed, and that was 11.66% of the generated worksheets. 147 worksheets had nothing completed, no items completed, which equated to 25.21% of our generated worksheets. Moving to the right, we see the number of tasks that were generated from the 583 worksheets, a total of 3718. Of that 3718, 2705 got completed. So we had a 72.75% completion rate of actual tasks handed out versus actual tasks completed. We used a total of 814.82 labor hours at a cost to the facility of 8658.87 for those labor hours. We forecasted 1,143.5 hours of labor to complete all tasks on the worksheet. Now that compared to the labor hours we actually used, we used 71.3% of our forecasted labor time. Now, of the tasks that were completed, we had forecasted 791 hours. Now, we actually used 814 hours, which equated to 102.9% labor hours used of the forecasted labor hours. Worksheet completion percentage report. Now, we can run this report in an equipment area summary format. And when we run this report, you can see that what it does is it gives you just the equipment area worksheet header listings. It shows us how many worksheets were generated for that particular equipment area or worksheet. It shows us how many tasks there were total generated in that given time frame and how many tasks were completed, giving us our completion percentage. It shows us our cost to the facility for the labor hours used to perform all the tasks that were completed and the labor hours, 88. And it gives us our forecasted labor hours versus our actual labor hours percentages. For all tasks to be completed, we forecasted 151.33. We used 88, so we only used 58.1% of our forecasted labor. Of the tasks that were completed, we forecasted 79.58 hours. We actually used 88, so we used 110.6% of our forecasted labor for the tasks that were complete. Now our third view can be the summary view, summary only. And when we run this report, it gives us our back summary page as we saw in the first report, giving us our worksheets as a whole and the tasks individually. And there is worksheet completion percentage.